We're back. How are you doing, Pickle?
Doing great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Are you ready to have a conversation today?
I sure am.
Hey, let's do it. Let's have that conversation. It is so good to be back in the studio today with you, the audience. I'm here today with Pickle, and I am here today with someone very, very special. And that is the one, the only, my true love, the wife.
Hey, y'all. It's good to be back.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I am so glad that you're here today. I'm glad that Pickle's here today. And I am so glad that we have another opportunity to have a conversation. Before we get started with today's main topic, I feel like I owe a huge shout out, a big thank you to my wife. And yes, I am looking at her as I say this. One of the things that leading up to this point that me and Pickle have really enjoyed doing is going back and looking at how many listens or how many downloads that you, the audience, are giving us. That's just one of the things that...
Yeah, just like the total amount of streams or, just...
Yeah, that's kind of one of our favorite things to do with this, to see how y'all are responding to these podcasts.
Y'all like tracking all the data.
Long story short, we've been watching this data, and I've been knowing in the back of my mind that we were eventually going to need to do something to get the word out more, because we hadn't really done anything up to this point other than told maybe 5 or 6 people.
Yeah, like just our close friends and family.
Yeah. So we hadn't done really anything to spread the word. So I have been knowing that needs to happen sooner or later, and I've been putting it off. Well, my wife came to me the other day, and she offered to make us an Instagram page and a Facebook page, and she did that. She gave me the idea. I said, sure, go with it. She worked on it that very day, put in some time and some hours into that, and I'm going to say our views and our listens skyrocketed. I was so amazed to see the difference, the response that we were getting and the response that she had when she sent this out on social media. And I'm saying all that to say thank you very much for giving that time and effort into doing that. And going forward, she's gonna kind of manage that part of this. And we are so happy and thankful that she's on board. We thought it would be fun. We had mentioned it to y'all earlier, the audience. And we told y'all that we would love to share with y'all where we got our nicknames from, Pickle and Chip. So we thought that today it would be fun, and especially since the wife is here, to have a little conversation about where those nicknames come from and to share them with you. I'm going to really have to have Pickle jog my memory on his story, but my story is fun to tell. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope y'all will enjoy. So with that being said, Pickle, let's start with your nickname. And where did it come from? How did it originate? And so, yeah, what's the story there?
Well, I've actually had the name for quite some time. It started when I was pretty young. All my family and friends know I despise pickles, especially, dill pickles. And so that's what they would call me. They'd call me Dill Pickle. And here about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we started fostering. And when we were introducing ourselves to the little foster kids, they're like, what's your name? And my little brother, kid number 1, came up and he said, oh, his name is Pickle.
Is that so? Of course, I remember the foster children coming in, but was that, that was the first thing they knew you by?
That was the very first name that was given to them. And so that's what stuck with them until now.
And they still call you that.
Yeah, every time I see them, they're like, Pickle, or if they needed something, or if they needed a tattle on me, if I did something they didn't agree with, Pickle was what they used.
So has the name Pickle, has it gotten bigger? Has it gotten outside of that?
Yeah,
other than just the
yeah,
foster.
Yeah, ever
children?
since when my friends would hear the foster kids call me Pickle, they'd be like, "Oh, Pickle, really?" So
Did-
that's what they use for me now too, every now and then.
So now he truly is Pickle. But my question to you is, does that name have any reference to your kind, sweet, loving personality?
No, I think if I was going to compare myself to a pickle, I'd be like a bread and butter pickle, or maybe a sweet pickle.
Does it bother you that you have a nickname, Pickle? I guess I hope it doesn't, because that is your name in this podcast.
It used to a little bit, but now that I just kind of find it odd. I catch myself because I'll be walking through like the store, or I'll be just like anywhere, and if someone says the word pickle loudly, I'll turn around, looking around to see who called my name, and then I'll realize. Oh,
So you've gotten used to it. It's become the norm.
right? Yeah.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. My story, again, is fun to tell.
I think you should call it your legend, not just your story.
Well, I'm not Well, you know what? I am almost famous.
You are famous.
I am famous among a certain group
I
of
don't
people.
think famous is the word. I think infamous. You're infamous now.
Well, my story starts on one regular, normal October day. I bebopped into work, just like normal. Nothing out of the ordinary was going on. I was met with the normal good morning, hellos, and how you doings. When out of nowhere, someone in the background or someone in the room where I was at said, "You should have been here yesterday." That kind of caught me off guard, because I wasn't used to walking into work and somebody saying, "Hey, you should have been here yesterday." The previous day was my day off. There was no reason that I should have been there. But, of course, I had to inquire, why? Why should I have been here yesterday? And that's where the story gets started. They said, "You should have been here yesterday." They said, "We had something here that we feel like you would have enjoyed and loved being a part of." Well, of course, at this time, I'm curious. I'm interested to see where they're going with this conversation. And they went on to say that someone, no names mentioned, had brought a certain product there to work for some people to try, to ingest and then digest. And they were wishing that I could have been there to be part of that.
Was there some particular reason?
Well, I'm getting there. So, being they knew who I was and what I enjoyed doing, and some of the things that in my past that I had enjoyed doing, they said this person brought a hot chip, as in like a spicy chip. And they said they went on to tell me several people tried this, and the outcome wasn't very good for these people. I even heard that one of these people ate this chip, and a few minutes later, he was laying on the bathroom floor, curled up in pain.
Wow.
I heard one guy went and raided the refrigerator because he was trying to do all the typical things you do when you eat hot, spicy food and
Right.
eat ice cream and drink milk and all those types of things. And so they were giving me a little bit of detail, about what had happened the previous day. And they were like, "Man, you should have been here." They had seen me eat some really hot stuff
Right.
like a week before leading up to this, and I handled it like a man
Yeah,
would
of
handle it.
course.
And I mean, because I can handle that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so they were disappointed, to say the least, that I wasn't there. And my response to that was, I was like, well, you know what? Hey, I wish I could have been here. I mean, that's kind of always kind of been my thing.
Right.
Not that I would just really love and enjoy the whole spicy food thing, but I love
Showing off.
I wouldn't call it showing off.
I would.
I call it a contest.
Hmm.
I love a challenge.
Oh, I thought you were going to say attention.
No, I love a challenge.
That wouldn't be wrong though.
What's that?
You like attention
No, I disagree.
when it comes to eating food.
No, I disagree. So, let's get back to the story. So, they go to tell me that I should have been there and I could have partook of this spicy chip. Well, I was a little disappointed. I thought that this opportunity had come and gone and that I missed out on an opportunity to show once again how much of a man that I was, because I had already done this a week before, pretty much to a big majority of my coworkers, and it blew them all away. They couldn't believe it. They're like, I mean, they were the stuff that we were eating earlier.
It was jerky though.
It was a little
right?
piece of jerky dusted with some like Carolina Reaper.
It was still hot.
Oh, it was some bad. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was hot.
Yeah.
And everybody would eat it, and they would choke on it, and they would spit, and they would sputter, and
Right.
they were eating like one little bitty tiny piece at a time, and like I went over there and ate 3 or 4 at a time, and I was.
And then you felt real proud of yourself.
I you know what? Being honest, I was a little bit proud of myself.
You know the saying.
Well, I was proud of myself, and I knew that experience had happened. I was disappointed at this time.
You thought your ship had sailed.
That I was not going to be able to experience those feelings again. But all that soon changed because someone in the back of the room, come to find out, the person that had brought the chips the day before spoke up. And to my joy and to my excitement, he said, I have another one.
Oh.
I got excited.
I'm sure.
I was happy.
The door has opened up.
The door has just opened up. So I said, really? He's like, yeah. He goes, I have one more. He goes, let me go get it. I said, please do. So he goes and he gets this product. And he brings it back and he hands it to me. And it literally is okay, up to this point, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Right.
I knew from the description they said we have a hot chip. I'm thinking, okay, he's got a bag of chips that's spicy. But it was literally what they said it was.
You didn't know that should have been in all caps.
It was
chip.
literally one hot chip.
Right.
All right, this happened, 2019 maybe?
Something like that.
This is 2022. Since then, this thing kind of got popular, and there was a bunch of YouTube videos,
Yes.
and I'm sure
I've seen.
the audience, have seen
Not about
this.
you, about the chip itself.
Right. So this chip in 2022 is nothing new.
Right.
But at that time, I hadn't heard about it.
So did you eat it?
So hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So they hand me this box, which was literally one chip. And on this box, it said...
Wait. Was it one of the boxes that looked like a coffin?
Yes, it was a
Oh,
red...
my goodness.
I think this one was a red and black box.
That didn't put like a warning sign
I think
in your
it
head?
had a picture of a skull and maybe some
see?
bones and some bones on the front of
You
it.
should have been rethinking these things.
Anyway, it said a one-chip challenge.
Yes.
And I thought, this is awesome. Everybody started to get excited at this point.
So you were the center of attention.
Yeah, so they were they had probably, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe 8 to 10 of us there in the room. And of course, I'm standing up kind of at the front of the room. I just walked in and kind of all the attention was on me and all the eyes were kind of
Like you like it.
Well, I mean, if I'm doing something, y'all, I normally, I'm not looking at Pickle and the wife. I'm talking to you, the audience. Normally, I don't like attention. But when it comes to a contest or an opportunity for me to compete and beat somebody,
The more the better.
the more the better. All right, so back to the story. Here I am. I'm standing at the front of the room. All eyes are on me. I got this box in my hand, and I'm slowly opening it up, and I'm really checking it out to see what it is. And my coworkers,
Yeah.
the people there in the room, most of them get their phones out and they put their cameras on. I mean, like they are like getting ready. You know,
They're ready for an event.
I mean, they're actually holding their phones up in front of them. They're getting me in focus.
Right.
I mean, they are ready for this thing
They're
to go.
They're probably hoping for drama.
They're ready for this thing to go down. And I've thought back to that. I'm thinking, man, what were they expecting? I mean, what were they expecting?
Well, they had probably seen those videos.
I had already heard that one guy was on the bathroom floor, curled up, holding his stomach.
So you had already heard that before you got to this point?
Yeah, they told me all this before they handed me the chip.
And you still went forward.
And they said one guy went to the freezer and got the milk and ice cream. And, you know, it didn't surprise me. But I had no idea at this point in the story, when I was there opening up the box, I had no idea what the outcome was going to be. But anyway, I open it up. Everybody's standing there. They got their cameras looking at me. They got the cameras focused on me. And I pull out this one chip.
Yes.
Which was about the size of a Dorito.
What color?
It was black.
Ugh.
And it looked like a normal chip.
No, it's black. It can't look normal.
So, I did contemplate for just a minute of how I wanted to eat this thing. It did enter my mind.
I would have used my mouth.
I was going to say something similar.
Okay. I was thinking of how I was going to use my mouth to eat this thing. I was, for a very quick minute, thinking about what it did do to these other two people that I'd heard about. But I thought that they were probably just not as tough as I was.
Just not as manly.
Not as manly, and probably couldn't handle it like I knew that I could handle it. So I made the decision at this point that I didn't want to just take a nibble or a bite.
Oh, boy.
That I wanted to give these people standing there taking videos and pictures. I wanted to give them something worth videoing and something worth taking a picture of.
You were ready to put on a show.
I was gonna do it up big.
That wasn't prideful at all.
So I made the decision to pop the whole thing in my mouth all at one time. And I did just that. So I will say the experience and the feelings I felt right at that moment in time weren't as bad as I had expected.
Really?
I will say even the week before, when I had eaten some of that jerky,
yeah,
with the Carolina Reaper and ghost pepper dust on it, I will say at that time, I was thinking that that jerky was a worse experience, a more painful experience than what I was experiencing eating this chip.
So you didn't just have flames coming out of your mouth after you ate the chip.
It really, I remember thinking I've had worse.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me a little blast of confidence.
Yeah.
But that confidence was very short-lived.
Okay.
It lasted for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think there in the beginning, everybody got kind of bored.
Were they impressed?
They were very impressed, and I was feeling pretty good about myself.
Pretty proud.
All the phones went back up in pockets and purses, and I disappointed the crowd.
Yeah.
I felt good, but I disappointed the crowd.
Right.
I didn't have a tear running down my face. I wasn't choking. I wasn't coughing. You know what? I didn't even have a bottle of water close by. I was wishing I had water.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them that.
You didn't tell them.
I didn't tell nobody that. I was wishing I had water. And
it wouldn't have been manly to let them know your pain.
I wouldn't have drank water in front of them. My short-term plan was, though, as soon as the crowd lost interest, that I was going to go grab a bottle of water.
You were going to sneak a little sip.
As quick as I could. But that's kind of also the fun the fun of these types of things is to see how long you can go
Yeah.
without giving some kind of relief to yourself. So the crowd got bored. Everybody kind of just dispersed, and things went back to the way they were. Well, on this particular day, we were for some reason we were doing some cooking. We have the availability to cook, and we cook a lot of meals and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to do my part while managing this low level of pain that I had experienced up to this point. And I was trying to help out, and I remember I was washing some dishes.
Yes.
I'm standing there at the kitchen sink, and the pain, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I was feeling a 5 about the time. It went up to about a 9.5.
Whoa.
Really quick.
Whoa.
And I was wishing real bad that I had some of that water available, but I didn't want to say anything to anybody.
It's a small price for manliness.
Well, at this point, I didn't care about manliness or being manly, because I'm not. So up to this point, all the pain had been focused in my mouth
Yeah.
and my tongue
Right.
and the back of my throat. But the pain had shifted locations.
It migrated.
It migrated down to my stomach.
Uh-oh.
And at first, I didn't think too much about it. I thought this is just going to be a passing phase. But the longer it went on, the phase didn't pass.
Right.
It didn't pass.
You
And-
did.
Well, that's coming up in a few minutes later in the story. But I began to get a little bit nervous because I started hurting really bad in a way that you don't want to hurt when you're around a bunch of people
At work.
at work.
Right.
So I start thinking about this a little bit, and I remembered something very important at this point.
Your wife?
Well, yeah, I remembered her, but I remembered that I hadn't been feeling too well in the
Mhm.
2 weeks leading up to this point.
Yes.
And I think an important part of this whole thing that I need to inject here is that I had been having some gallbladder trouble.
Yes. I
And I
remember
had-
that.
I honestly hadn't thought about it up to about this point in the story.
I have
And
a question for you.
Hold on now.
Okay.
And it was a quick passing thought that, you know what, I had a little gallbladder trouble. I know kind of what gallbladder stuff is. And I said, you know what, this probably is not good for gallbladder stuff. I said, I didn't say, I thought to myself, I probably need to go call my wife.
Yes.
So just a quick little back history there. My wife is an expert when it comes to having and dealing with gallbladder things.
Sadly.
I didn't think I needed to go call my wife because I was wanting some gallbladder information and expertise. But I was in a situation that I was hurting really, really bad. And I was around a bunch of people that I didn't want my belly hurting while I was around these certain people. And so I kind of, honestly, I went to go call my wife and told her she needed to start praying.
Well,
So I did that.
yes, you did.
I did. I
remember
stepped
that.
outside away from everybody. And I very, as careful and as delicate as I could, broke the news to my wife that what I had done. I kind of confessed a little bit.
And I think I was pretty quick to remind you that we had discussed that morning
Well,
that you should not eat anything
I don't
bad for you
I
that
don't
day.
I don't really remember that part of the conversation.
I do.
I do remember telling you that I ate the hottest chip in the world. At that time, I think that was the label, or that was one of the things it was marketed for. It was the hottest chip in the world. And so all the proudness that I had been feeling,
The pride.
and yeah, that word, and some of the other things that I had been feeling,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't feeling that anymore.
Except for the pain.
All I was feeling was pain. and I was just trying to tell my wife, I was looking for a little sympathy. But y'all, I'm here to say the wife wasn't giving me any sympathy.
No, I wasn't giving you sympathy. I was upset.
So I went on to explain to her that, hey, I'm in a bad situation right now. And I don't need a lecture. I don't need chewing out. You can do all that later. I said, I need two things. I need you to start praying, and I need something to help me get through this pain of what I am suspecting is a gallbladder attack coming on.
That you brought on yourself.
Well, her and her expertise of having gallbladder trouble gave me a very good recommendation. And she told me to go buy some apple juice or go get some apple juice if I had some access to some apple juice. I thought, you know what? That is a wonderful idea. And I knew right down the hallway, we had a vending machine with apple juice. I hightailed it as quick as I could to that vending machine with my little debit card, and I bought me a bottle of apple juice. And I did what she suggested. I took a big old gulp of that right in the middle of some pain that I was experiencing. Now, I haven't explained to y'all the pain that I was experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I did tell y'all it was about a 9.5, but this pain was coming in waves.
Kind of like contractions.
Like it was just all of a sudden intense. I can't deal with this kind of pain. Like it's so bad. Like major, worse than ever stomach cramp pain. And then all of a sudden it would kind of go away. So I went and I bought my apple juice. And all of a sudden I had this big wave of intense pain starting to come up on me. And I took a big old gulp of apple juice. And let me tell you, miracles still happen. The apple juice knocked out that big wave of intense pain.
Well, that's good.
And I thought, you know what? I love my wife so much.
Aw.
She is wonderful.
I
am so glad that I had told her about what I was experiencing, and then she recommended to me to drink some apple juice because I thought at that time that all my problems were solved and had been taken away.
Little did you know.
Little did I know. Well, I did know, and I did find out very quickly to keep the pain at bay that I needed to continue to sip on my apple juice.
Yes.
So I did. I continued to sip on my apple juice. And it worked. It was a wonderful thing. And then I ran out of apple juice.
Uh-oh.
And I ran to that vending machine again, and I bought me another bottle of apple juice.
This didn't ring any alarm bells
in your head? It was working. It was working so well. It really was. It was working so well, and I would recommend to you right now or anybody else that if you're eating something spicy and you're having a gallbladder attack, go drink some apple juice. It works wonders.
I don't know. He's not a doctor. Don't listen to him.
So I'm about halfway through this second bottle of apple juice. And I had made my way back into the kitchen to help, as I love to do, and wash dishes. And I remember washing dishes, and the pain kind of changed a little bit. It was still it was very, very intense. But it went from like knife stabbing, crampy pain, like to major, you better find a bathroom right now kind of pain.
Uh-oh.
So I looked around for my bottle of apple juice, which I had been finding a lot of comfort in. But I looked around and I didn't have my apple juice. I misplaced it. I started to panic. I had a feeling come up on me that I had never had before. I've had feelings where you need to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
But on a scale of 1 to 10, this was a 10 plus that I needed to get to the bathroom.
I think
right
child
away.
number 3 would describe it as number 93.
Think about it this way. I'm having what I was assuming gallbladder trouble, and I had just downed or consumed a bottle and a half of apple juice.
Mm.
And if you know what apple juice can do to you in large quantities, you get where I'm going.
Yes.
That process was taking place.
Y'all, I left that kitchen so fast. I almost broke out into a run down the hallway of where I work in the building I work in. The hallway was probably about 50 foot away, which looked about like 100 yards away.
Mm.
I took off almost in a run, definitely in a trot, and I went in that bathroom. And I was in a bad situation. I was hurting so bad.
Yeah.
I was feeling so bad. I didn't know if I was going to live. At one point, I remember that I didn't know if I was going to be able to come out of the bathroom. I felt like I was fixing to pass out, and I thought, what a terrible scene. If I passed out right here in this bathroom stall and somebody come in and found me.
How undignified.
So I determined right then and there that I was not going to pass out.
You were going to be a man.
I was going to try to get some manly feelings worked back up. And I did not want to pass out sitting there in that bathroom stall.
Right.
So I did my best to kind of rush the situation a little bit and try to get to more of a secure location. Well, I come back out of the bathroom and I go back down the hall, and I knew in the situation I was in, not knowing when this bathroom filling would come back or how soon it would come back, I didn't want to go be around people. So I went into another room, what we call our conference room. Big long table, bunch of chairs in there. There wasn't nobody in there though, and I go in there and I sit down. And I'm feeling so what's a good word? Woozy, lightheaded, like I'm about to go out cold, y'all.
Yeah.
And I knew that I probably needed to call my wife back and give her an update on the situation. So I did. I managed to find her name in my phone and I called her, and I gave her an update as best as I could.
It was terrible timing though, because I mean, well, for one thing, his work is like an hour away from where I am, and I could have still driven that distance, but I was actually in the shop with the vehicle, and it was up on the mount getting the tires rotated. So I was really between a rock and a hard place, and it's not the thing you want to hear that your husband is about to pass out, and nobody else knew where you were, and then you just hung up.
So I had shared with her that she knew the situation I was in, but I was so close to losing it at that point with passing out that I knew I had to hang up the phone and concentrate. I did not want to pass out.
That threw me in a panic.
I did not want to pass out at my job and have other people come find me. So I guess what felt like an eternity was probably just a few seconds went by, and I realized, I said, I cannot pass out in this conference room. If somebody just walks in and sees me laying out on the floor or laying over on the table, I mean, they're going to think I'm dead. And I mean,
right.
I said, I can't pass out here. I have to let somebody know my situation. As embarrassing as it was.
Yeah, because you had a long way to fall from that morning.
I had to let someone know. So I managed to get up, and the kitchen was just right across the hallway, about 5 or 6 steps. Y'all, I feel myself blacking out. I mean, I'm like, I don't even know how I'm walking, but I managed to take a few steps. I walked into the kitchen. Somebody saw me. They grabbed me, and they kind of forced me or helped me to sit down in a chair, a kitchen chair right there. The next thing I remember is I come to, so I passed out. I come to. They got my shirt ripped off. They got me covered in cold washcloths.
Oh, my goodness.
And cold towels. I mean, like, it's a full-blown medical emergency.
They're all upset, too, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing saying, he don't have no color, and, you know, he's white as a ghost, and all these types of things. Like, they're almost in panic mode.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conversation going on, and, again, the pain is still kind of coming and going in waves. And I hear somebody say, and this kind of gets to an important part of the story. I hear somebody say, go pull the plant alarm.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I work at this big industrial chemical plant. You don't ever want to be the cause of the emergency plant alarm sounding. that just means that anything, any type of work, wherever anybody, any person is at, everything in that plant comes to a screeching halt if the emergency plant
Yeah.
alarm goes off. You do not want to be the person
How many workers
that
does that
causes
affect?
that. No, there's probably around, in a day's time, there might be 300 people there.
Oh, that's a lot. And so how big is that plant then?
It's really big. There's a lot of work that goes on. And I heard somebody say, "Go pull the plant alarm." And I'm thinking, "No, don't. You cannot go pull the plant alarm."
Yeah,
I don't want to be that guy.
right.
Well, I was able to talk a little bit, and again, this pain was coming in waves, and when it comes, I can't talk.
Mhm.
I like about to pass out, can't talk, but then it goes away and I can talk. So I said, "Look," I tried to explain the situation as briefly as I could. I said, "Look," I said, "I think I'm just having a little gallbladder trouble. I'll get over it." A couple seconds later, pain comes again. I'm about to pass out, and they throw more towels on me, and at this point, they're not listening to me.
Right.
And somebody goes outside and they pull the plant alarm. Well, I knew what was going to happen next.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own first responders. We have
Yeah.
our own medical department, firefighters, doctor. We have all that there at my job. I knew that as soon as that plant alarm went off, I knew in a matter of minutes that where I was at was going to be swarming
Mm-hmm.
with first responders.
And an ambulance would be on the way.
Ambulance.
Everything.
I knew it was fixing to be a really, really big deal. The only thing that I had on my mind at that point
Mm-hmm.
was that I had to go to the bathroom again.
Oh no.
And I knew what that was going to entail.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want this swarm of people being around me and carrying me off somewhere away from a bathroom.
Right.
All right. So I let it be known that I need to go to the bathroom. Well, it just so happened one of the people that were in my circle right there was a first responder.
Oh, okay.
So he kind of knew what to do. He kind of knew how to take control of the situation. And I mean, I think he understood that I had to go to the bathroom. So he's like, "Okay, let's go down to the bathroom." So we go down to the bathroom, and y'all, this is a one person, one stall bathroom. So I start to go in there, and he starts to come in right behind me. I'm like, "No, man."
Oh.
I said, "I'm good. I'm good." I said, "Let me just go to the bathroom. I'll be right back out." He's like, "No." He goes, "I'm not leaving you by yourself in there." And
Oh no.
I'm thinking, really?
It's gonna be
I'm
awkward.
like, all right, well, they haven't been listening to me so far, so he's probably not going to listen to me now. He comes on in the bathroom with me.
Oh, poor guy
I
too.
go, yeah, poor guy.
That's not just you then there.
So look, I go in the bathroom stall, and I go to pull the bathroom door, the stall door closed, and go to lock it, and he's like, He stood there, would not let me close
Oh.
the bathroom stall, y'all. I'm sitting on the toilet, doing what needs to be done.
And from this point forward, that feeling of being a man was no longer in existence.
That left a long time ago
You
in
had
this story.
reached the bottom.
That left a long time ago. But he stood right there, y'all, and would not let me close the door. He stood with his back toward me.
Bless his heart.
I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for me. And
I would say bless your heart, but I'm still kind of aggravated about it.
It was just a bad situation, y'all. I know we're running out of time, and I got to wrap this up. Let's see.
Is that where it ends? What happened next?
Well, I ended up, I come out of the bathroom, and that was a sight to behold. I come out that bathroom. Y'all, there were so many people in that hallway.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the bathroom
What's that?
when you said that was a sight to behold.
Well, I'm sure for him it was. I wasn't thinking about what he was, well, I was thinking about what he was seeing. But moving on, I come out of the bathroom. I stepped out into that hallway.
Yeah.
There were so many people in that hallway. They had a stretcher out. They grabbed me. They put me on the stretcher. They strapped me in. They rolled me. They load me up in the ambulance.
Sounds terrible.
It was terrible. I can't talk because I'm hurting so bad. I'm about to pass out. They don't want me to pass out. I ended up having to go to the hospital. Had to get some ultrasounds and things like that. It was a big rigmarole. They ended up helping me manage the pain.
Yeah.
And I think the part that you like the most about this story
Yes, this is my favorite part.
is
I think you should let me tell it.
I went to leave the hospital and I was filling out my discharge papers.
Mm-hmm.
And the little girl was so nice there. You know, I think she kind of had a clue of what maybe a little bit what I had been experiencing, what I was going through, and she was just trying to make me feel better about it all.
Yeah.
And finally, she got this look on her face, and she said, "Are you the guy that ate the hot chip?"
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, "Yeah." And she got this look on her face and she said, "My boyfriend just called me.
Yeah.
He works at a plant right up the road." She goes, "And he just called me laughing and said, some stupid idiot ate a hot chip and they had to sound the plant alarm and it put him down and he had to go to the hospital." And she thought that was so hilarious.
That is hilarious.
And it let me know that, man, it doesn't take word long to get around.
Nope.
It happened so fast. I mean, just like 30 minutes had gone by.
Yeah.
I had went down. It knocked me off my feet. I'm in an ambulance. I'm on my way to the hospital. I'm at the hospital for about 30, 45 minutes. Word has already gotten out in the community.
What are the odds that someone at the hospital would already know your story?
That some guy at a plant ate a hot chip.
No, not some guy. Some stupid idiot at a plant ate a hot chip. Shut the plant down.
Couldn't handle it. Lost every ounce of manliness that he felt.
Yes.
And he's laying in the hospital bed crying like a baby.
Well, this is why we say you're infamous. You're famous around there.
So that is where the name Chip come from. But really the nickname is Chippy.
Yeah.
So that's what the coworkers.
That's so cute. That's
what the coworkers call me, is Chippy. So on this podcast, Chippy, it's kind of all the same thing. But hey, I thought it was a fun. You know what? It is. I look back at it now.
Yeah.
And I can smile and laugh about it. I was so far from laughing and smiling. At one point in that whole story, and I didn't give all the details at the hospital, there was at one point in that story, I didn't think I was going to come home alive.
I remember that.
I mean, I have never had so much intense pain. I thought I was going to die that day. I thought I was going to die that day in that hospital.
It was scary during the moment, but it's funny now.
Hey, I knew my wife was at home and she had said some prayers for me.
I sure did.
The apple juice helped. At one point, I think it made some things worse a little bit later on, but hey, she did her best to help me out. It all ended up fine, and to this day, they have not let me live that down at work.
I don't blame them.
And we all look back and we laugh. We love to tell the story. We love to talk about it. But that's where the name Chippy come from. So hope y'all enjoyed that little story. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. We're out of time. Thank you, audience, for being here today. Thank you, wife, for being here. Thank you, Pickle. Thank you all very much for being here and being a part of the conversation. Y'all, please email us, randomearcandy@yahoo.com. Give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing. Give us some ideas. Give us something you want us to all sit here at this table and talk about. We would really love to hear from you. Again, thank you very much. We'll see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.
See ya.